Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO, and I am here at Live Life 360's corporate headquarters, and I get to do some interviews today, and one of them is with Dr. Christina, is it Beer?
Yes, Beer.
Beer.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. Thank you so much for taking
You're
time
welcome.
with me, and you're new to the direct selling industry.
I am.
So share a little bit about your background.
My background is I got a Ph.D. at Utah State in food science and nutrition, and I did mostly genetics studies on cheese cultures.
Wow.
So how it impacts flavor and other properties of cheese. So, and then I decided, well, it's time to get a job. I started at Weider Nutrition as a formulator. And I got thrown in the mix, and they said, here, do this, formulate this, and I learned by trial and error on how to formulate products, powders and drinks and tableting, tablets and bars and things like that.
Okay.
So, and then I graduated into the regulatory aspect of things when Weider split up into Schiff and Weider Global. So I followed the Schiff line, and I did a lot of the background research for the regulatory aspect of things.
Now share a little bit about that. How detailed does the regulatory side get?
Well, regulatory has to do with claims on what you can say on labels.
Okay.
It's nothing you learn in school. You have to learn it on the job, and I had a great mentor. So you learn on what you can say, where the gray areas are, and what you cannot specifically say, which is a big no-no to the FDA.
Okay.
Which obviously is disease claims.
Sure. Now, is that always shifting? I mean, obviously the disease side doesn't, but does the gray area shift back and forth?
It does, but not really. But it's all in the interpretation.
Okay.
When you're saying something, and whatever the risk is to the company, and the company may say, yeah, well, we'll take the risk, and we're not going to be on the radar screen or anything like that. So it's all a company decision on where you want to be in the gray area.
Okay.
So, but I like to be not in the gray area. I want to make sure this is a structure function claim,
Sure.
so we don't have the problems with the FDA down the road.
Now that makes total sense
Right.
to me, and I think that's one of the things that makes it unique. When I got to meet you a couple of months ago, because you haven't been around the direct selling industry,
Right.
because you are so passionate about the science behind knowing that you had that regulatory side, that you wanted to stay in the black and not right, and knowing your partners are that way. All
Right,
of them
and
are.
that's what I told them up front. I said, I want to make sure that the science backs up all our claims, because it's not you just don't read one paper. You read hundreds of papers in order to come to a couple of claims, heart claims or bone claims. But it's not that you've only read one scientific paper. You've read a whole bunch of them, from in vitro studies, cell cultures, to animal studies, to human studies, to the clinical studies.
Wow.
So it all builds on each other.
Now,
in order to do that.
somewhere you got this passion. You shifted from cheese cultures
Yes.
to K2, which has become just a driving passion with your research.
Yeah, when I was at Schiff, we did investigate K2, and at the time, Schiff wasn't ready to go to market with a K2 product for various reasons. And so it's always been in the back of my mind that K2 does all these great things for your heart, for your bones, for other areas as well. And this was just a perfect opportunity for me to bring that message out and to educate the public.
What makes K2 so unique?
Well, K2 is a vitamin that it was discovered over 80 years ago. Vitamin K as a family.
Right.
And it kind of got forgotten because nobody really knew. They knew it was involved in cholesterol synthesis somehow through the animal studies. And in the 40s, the inventor got the Nobel Prize for it. But then it kind of got forgotten because nobody really understood the mechanism in the body.
Right.
So in the 70s, K1 was somewhat rediscovered. They realized that, it activates coagulation proteins.
Oh.
So that's how it came back to the radar screen. And in the late 70s and 80s, they realized, well, there's another product in the K2 which activates bone proteins.
Oh.
So that's how it all got rediscovered, so to speak.
Sure.
And all the time, they're now rediscovering new proteins that K2 activates.
Really? Wow.
Yes. So the matrix GLA protein for the heart, that wasn't discovered until maybe, I don't know the exact date now, maybe 10 years after the bone osteocalcin protein.
Okay.
So they've discovered various proteins now that vitamin K2 actually activates, and it's all the same function to grab calcium.
Well, it's interesting because after you shared in the beginning with me, and I started learning about K2, when Jesse shared with me, I went out to the stores to look, and one thing that I found that's a disconnect for me is I found a really cheap and then really expensive. What makes one company give a cheap product and one put an expensive label on it?
Well, it all has to do with how you get vitamin K2.
Okay.
MK4, which is the cheaper version, it's easily obtainable through fermentation, and through food. You can actually get MK4 through fermentation. You eat fermented foods, and one of them is actually the natto bean, which is not very palatable to the Western world.
Right, but it's big in Asia, correct?
It's big in Japan.
Okay.
So, but we can get it from fermented cheeses, goose liver pate, and those but we don't get enough of it because we'd have to eat the quantities that we do.
Okay.
So supplementation is great for that. And then they discovered a MK7. So the difference is only the tail length of vitamin K2 to make it simple.
Well, that makes it easier for me. Now, you, through your study, have created a new product line at Live Life 360.
Right.
What is the difference now between what you've created than what we might find on the market?
So on the market you find it's a single ingredient vitamin. It's only K2,
Okay.
MK4 or MK7. So what I've done, we've done a patent pending blend,
Right.
and we've added a special form of magnesium in there, which is very easily digestible. And we've also added a lemon bioflavonoid
Okay.
that has all these ingredients have clinical backups.
Okay.
So in humans.
So we've
for
got a product backed by
absorption.
science.
Absolutely. Everything is backed by science for absorption, for tolerability, for GI upsets. Because a lot of these supplements, as humans, we don't tolerate some of them, and we have just GI upsets and stomach upsets and things like that. So I was hoping that the blend that I've put together, that it wouldn't upset too many stomachs.
Well, that makes sense. And now, what are you guys calling this?
Where? Excuse me?
What do you call it? Your
That one is Provital K2.
Provital K2.
That one is Provital K2.
Okay.
And all these ingredients have effects on K2 itself. They act together
Okay.
in the vascular system. The bioflavonoids are antioxidants.
Oh, okay.
But bioflavonoids also act as cell signals on cells to signal certain reactions to occur in the body.
What's the magnesium do?
Magnesium is an essential mineral, and it's involved in over 300 biological activities.
Wow.
As a coenzyme. So these reactions wouldn't happen if magnesium wasn't around.
Okay. Now, what about the other products? Because you've got the Provital K2 now in all your other products too, right?
Yes, we do. So we added Provital K2 to a raw material called krill.
Okay.
Krill is another form of omega-3. The difference is that compared to fish oil, krill is carried by a phospholipid backbone, and fish is carried by a triglyceride backbone.
Okay.
So the difference is that krill is more effectively absorbed in the body because it's more body-like with the phospholipid background, and it's absorbed faster through clinical studies. You don't have any of the unpleasant fish side effects.
That was going to be one of my questions there. Okay.
You don't have any of those unpleasant, and the studies have shown that your it's called omega-3 index.
Okay.
That it improves. It's a marker for heart health. It improves with krill, and so the combination K2 and krill just made sense.
Sure.
Because krill gives you the omega-3s, the DHA, the EPA that we all know that we need in our cells to be fluid and elastic,
Right.
and so more reactions can happen through the cell wall. And K2 just, helps get rid of the calcium. So it's just a good combination.
I like that.
In my books.
What other products do you guys have now?
We have, we've added Provital to our skin line, to our anti-wrinkle serum.
Oh, wow.
Vitamin K has been shown to help with blotchiness, dark spots or dark circles under the eyes. It will improve the elasticity of the skin. So internally, so my approach was external and internal.
Makes sense.
So if your arteries are healthier, they'll nourish your skin a little better, and if you can have them absorbed through the skin as well, then it works great. And we also have other things in the serum for anti-wrinkle, to hydrate your skin better, and to promote collagen formation, because your skin is mostly collagen.
That makes sense there.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 or 4 products now that you've brought.
We have 3 now, and then we're working on another one. It's called Hydro Essential, which is coming out this summer. It's a different delivery form. It's a drink concentrate.
Really?
So we'll squirt it in water, 8-ounce water, and we have a delicious peach mango flavor to it.
Well, that'll be unique.
Yes,
okay.
It's very yummy, and it has the Provital in it. And together with some B vitamins and a little bit of caffeine as well for the energy part of the whole thing.
How quickly, if we go back to the Provital K2 or even the Creo, is this, I mean, a lot of times I'll hear people use the excuse, well, I don't see any difference. How long or what observations would people see that actually are taking the products?
Well, it's not a instantaneous
Correct.
feel, because this is more of a preventative approach that we want to take. We want to be around, 10 years down the road, because this stuff really works and it helps you. I would, from the studies I've seen, I would expect you would see something within 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
And you may feel that you may be a little bit more stable. You're not as wobbly anymore. You may have better muscle tone. Calcium is important for almost everything in the body. So if it gets directed to the right area, it's involved in nerve transmissions. I've heard anecdotally now from office people that they have better eyesight at night. So I would expect you will see the difference when you stop taking it.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a reverse thing.
Sure.
So you take it and you don't realize you're getting better in things, but if you stop taking it, you're going to say, "Oh, it did do something for me."
Interesting.
So it's more of a reverse approach.
That makes sense.
Than I can feel it right now.
Boom. Now, what about with the? Is it an anti-aging or the skincare?
The skin is an anti-wrinkle.
Anti-wrinkle.
You can say anti-aging because if you don't have wrinkles, makes you look younger. So
Now, does that again takes time?
It takes within 30 days you should see a difference. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I ask these questions because so many times I'll interview people, and not necessarily scientists, just and they want to tell me, oh, this is going to happen in 2 minutes, or like I've seen a product, that they say is real fast. You watch it on TV and it's like, wow, and then I wonder, well, but is that temporary? Will that last? Is it really making a change? So finding somebody that's got a product that you're very clear it could take up to 30 days shows that it is impacting very much differently. Now, does that last? I mean, as long
as you're on it, it'll last. Absolutely.
So then again,
it may not reverse you back to when you were a teenager, but it may take a couple of years off you by working on your wrinkles, and you may feel more vital.
You bet.
And more active, and you realize, oh, I don't ache and squeak and when I get out of the couch or out of the chair or something like that.
Well, and I think that's good, especially for moms.
Absolutely.
Moms are constantly on the go. They're trying to help with the kids. They're doing all that extra stuff, and especially if they're a professional mom where they're working and then it sounds like these products can help them both internally and externally feel better, look better, and get that little bit of vibrance back that they might be missing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, I know you're busy, but I want to thank you for taking time with me.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you so much,
It is a blessing.
Troy.
Guys, there you go. And we've been at this now for a while trying to get more of the chief science officers that we can talk to, because I think they're the power behind so many of the direct selling companies. It's great to have you distributors, but it's the ones that are creating these products that are most important. So live life like it's an epic adventure. Stay dangerous, stay strong, and if you're in network marketing, act like it.